Today I'm going to show you one of the most misunderstood features on Fujifilm cameras. Well, hi everyone, welcome to Pal to Tech. Today we are talking about the lock feature. It allows you to lock or freeze one or more of your camera's settings. And this can be very helpful in preventing you from accidentally moving a focus switch, turning a command dial, and so on. Many of your camera settings like autofocus, exposure, drive mode can be accidentally changed, and you may not know about it until it's too late. There's a lot more to this setting than you think, and I recommend you watch the entire video. For the demo today, I will be using an X-T5 and an XS20 camera. But regardless, today's video should help you no matter what model of Fujifilm camera that you have. The lock menu is located right in your camera's menu in the wrench area under Button Dial Setting. Scroll all the way to the end and you'll see it right here, Lock. Inside, there are two primary settings. And inside lock setting itself, you've got three choices: unlock, all function, and selected function. Now, before we continue, you must understand the two different ways that you can lock your camera. The first and most common is to press and hold down the menu OK button for about 2 seconds until you see the lock icon appear. On some cameras, you may see selected function display as well. Don't worry about that, we'll get to it. Either way, once you see the yellow lock icon right here, this means that one or more of the buttons, dials, or functions on your camera are locked. They are frozen with whatever settings you made to them before you lock the camera. So now to unlock the camera, just do the same thing. Now that the yellow lock icon is gone, your camera's back to normal. That's the main way that Fujifilm users will lock or unlock their camera. However, it is important that you understand a second way to do it. And that is inside the camera's menu, back to Button Dial Setting, into that lock setting area. And right here, you'll see the current state of either the type of lock that your camera's on or whether or not it's locked at all. Go into here and select Unlock. As soon as you do that, your camera is now unlocked. The word unlock right here is just showing you the current state of the camera's lock or unlock status. One of the most important things I want you to remember from this video is that if you see unlock right here, that does not mean that the entire lock feature itself on the camera is disabled. All it means when you see it like this is that right now, at this moment in time, your camera is currently in an unlocked state. Even if you see it say unlock, you can always still lock the camera again by pressing menu OK until the yellow lock icon appears. Yeah, that's true. You can never fully disable the ability to accidentally lock up your camera. However, I found a special workaround that will allow you to do just that. We'll get to it in a bit, but there's a few more things you need to know first. The next lock mode is called All Function. When you select that, it'll show the word all right here. If you see this, this means that you've not only activated now the lock feature, your camera's locked, but also you have told the camera to lock every single possible control or dial. In fact, all you can do at this point is press down the shutter release button and take the photo. That's about it. So why on earth would you totally lock down the camera like that? Suppose you hand your camera to someone else, you're out and about and you want them to take a photo of you and they know nothing about cameras at all, right? So you get all your settings right, hand them the camera, and they can't screw anything up. Or suppose you have a second camera locked down on a tripod where you cannot monitor or supervise it. That'll prevent anyone from changing the settings. And finally, the third lock mode is Selected Function. When you choose that, you see it say selected. At this point, two things happen. First, you'll now see the word selected appear right here. And second, you now have to think about this menu right here, function selection. And when you go inside of it, have a look at this right here. There are pages and pages of camera settings. And what you can do is pick and choose which ones you want to have locked. If you see a camera and a movie icon next to one of the settings, that means it'll be locked for both stills and movie shooting. If you see just a camera like here, color space, that means it only affects stills shooting. While if you only see a movie icon, that's only applicable to video shooting. And if there's no icon at all, for example, the front command dial, the rear command dial, it means that that particular setting is more system-wide, affecting the entire camera, whether you're shooting stills or video. Once you've made all your choices, press the DISP back button and keep pressing it until you get out of all the menus. Or to do the same thing, just half press down the shutter release button. And now, because you had chosen the selected state, when you return to your camera's screen, you'll now see the yellow lock icon. And only those settings that you chose in the Function Selected menu are now locked. The big takeaway here is that if you notice that some dial or some setting is not responding on your camera, check your camera's lock state. Because if it shows all or selected, that could be why something on the camera is not responding. Okay, are you now ready for the next level? As you know, you can put your camera into a locked state by holding down the menu OK button for 2 seconds. That is how you activate it. That's simple enough, right? Well, here's the problem. Anytime you use the menu OK button to put your camera into a locked state, it will only put your camera into the selected function mode of locked state. See how it says selected function on the X-T5? It may not say that on your model of camera, but if you go into the lock menu, you'll see it say selected right here. And that is because whenever you use the menu OK button to put your camera into a locked state, it will only ever put it in the selected function. Watch what happens when I put it into all function. The camera is now in all function. We've got our yellow icon lock. Now, if I press menu OK and hold it down to turn off the lock mode, and if I go back into my menu, it correctly says all function. However, if I turn off the locked state entirely, press and hold down menu OK until the yellow icon disappears, and then I lock the camera again. If I go into the menu, it reverted back to selected. It didn't remember that I had previously chosen all function before. So again, before we move on, using the menu OK button to lock the camera, it will only ever toggle between unlock or selected function. It will never activate all function. So remember that the only way that you could ever lock your camera and choose the all function option is if you do it in the Fujifilm menu. So now I'm going to give you some tips, workarounds, and recommendations. I think most of the time, if you're going to use the lock feature, you should use it in selected function. That way, you can go into the function selection area and take control of exactly what camera settings get locked. I would recommend that you include format, erase, and reset. And that could actually give you a little bit of protection if you're having a second shooter use the camera, right? Keep in mind though, if they've watched this video, they're gonna know how to turn all that off. And third, I would recommend locking the focus mode, the Q button, and the touch screen. Number 4, if you use back button focus for shooting, do not lock the AF on button. If you do that, your shutter will still work, you'll get the photos, but your back button focus won't work and all of your photos will come out blurry, and that'll make me mad, bad, and sad. If you're shooting video, consider locking the command dials, depending upon the type of shoot you're doing and your ergonomics and so forth. Number 6, remember that your lock feature survives power cycles, meaning that if you lock your camera and then you turn your camera off, turn your camera back on, it will still be locked. And of course, you can always see the yellow icon showing you that the camera is locked, right? No. If you happen to have your DISP back button set to the Fujifilm display mode where nothing is showing, like this, the yellow icon will disappear, but your camera is still locked. The most reliable way to check a locked camera is to go into your menu and look right here. Make sure it says unlock. Number 8, anytime a control is locked. For example, right here, I'll lock the Q button. Whenever you go to press the control, nothing happens. Yes, of course, it's locked, but you don't see any feedback or message or anything telling you it's locked. Number 9, you cannot assign that menu OK lock toggle switch to a different custom button. Pressing and holding down the menu OK button for 2 seconds is the only button that will work to put your camera in lock mode. However, you can assign a custom button to get you into the lock menu. For example, I'll do it to the Q button. You see it right there, lock setting. I'll choose that. Now, if I press the Q button, it jumps right into the lock menu. And finally, last but not least, remember when I told you that you cannot fully disable the lock feature on your camera altogether. Your Uncle PalDetech has a workaround for you. It might not work on every camera, but I know it works on the X-T5. If you want to make sure that you never accidentally lock a control on your camera, go into that button dial settings area again, into the lock menu, and choose Selected Function, and uncheck every single one of these. So now, let's say you accidentally press the menu OK button for 2 seconds and you didn't mean to, and your camera locks up. Remember what I told you before, that menu OK button will only ever lock it in Selected Function. And even though the camera is locked, none of these are selected. All of the controls will still continue to work. Well, congratulations. You now know more about the lock menu and settings than 99% of Fujifilm users. Well, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you found the video helpful or at least entertaining. And if you did, be sure to give it the like and subscribe. I'm going to be signing off now, but have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you in a new video next week. Take care.